Well, it's so good to have you on the podcast. How are you doing this fine evening on your time zone?
Yes, indeed it's evening. Thank you, Keith. Thank you for welcoming here, and it's a great pleasure to be here with you. And I'm excited to share some insights together with our listeners and our audience here to see how we can, help them get at least some takeaways from our discussion today.
I'm looking forward to it because what you do is unique in that space to really help women executives. So I'm looking forward to having this conversation with you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Me too. Yes.
So I'm going to give you an easy question to start out with. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
That's a great question. Thank you. Right, because I've heard a lot, and I've heard a lot, and I've discussed a lot. And but if I could take one thing to stand out, from my experience so far, is that every day we need to get a little bit better. Every day, a little bit better. So if we can manage this to be every day, literally a bit better as a person, as a human being, as a professional, as a as a as an as a family member, parent, father, whatever, mother, whatever we are, with the different roles that we have, right? Then I think this is really the greatest advice I have ever heard, and I'm trying to also keep up the same close to my heart and close to my everyday things, and everyday tasks or jobs or projects I have in my life.
I like that because incremental improvement, people don't realize how much an impact that has over a long period of time. If every day you're getting a little bit better, over time you'll see dramatic improvements as opposed to I'm going to go from 0 to 100. That doesn't usually work out. You just get frustrated, but just a little bit of improvement every day makes a huge difference.
Yes, I agree totally. And you know what? It may sound easy, but at the same time, it's extremely difficult to do that, right? Because everyone can say, "Oh, yeah, of course I get better every day. Of course I go to work. Of course I am with my kids. Of course I'm creative and I do things." But it's not that simple because if you think of it really and you nail it down on literally everyday basis, a little bit better than yesterday, that means planning, it means balance, it means focus, it means commitment, it means consistency, it means discipline, so it means so many different things and qualities and skills that you need to develop in order to be there always a little bit better. Because as you said perfectly, incrementally increases really the level. So then every day you
Right.
need to be even more better, even better. And then next day, even a little bit better. So it gets harder and harder, to stay there at this level.
Right. That's why they make steps, right? If you could just get from one level to the next, they would make steps, you just jump there.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's very easy also to jump down, right?
That's right.
To jump down, but then it can be a scary move, right? Because if you're
Yeah,
really
yeah.
high and you need to
That's
jump down and come
exactly.
back, it can be a really scary move.
I think that's my next book. That's why they make stairs. I have to write that down for myself.
Okay, yeah, please. Let me know if you need any support. I can support
I
you in
will
this.
do. I'll definitely call you. I'm always curious. People like yourself who pour into other people. There are always people in our lives who have been role models or mentors for us. Who are some people in your life who have walked alongside you in your journey?
Yeah, actually, I could, let's say, distinguish, I could pick, I would say three. One of them, first of all, is my mother. Because I just say a small story here. I grew up with a single parent, right? My mother, because I lost my father when I was literally 1 year old, so I never met him basically. And then
Oh,
my
sorry to
mother
hear that.
never got. No, it's okay. It doesn't. It's not so important anymore because I never felt differently. I
Right,
never met
sure.
him. I never met him, so I didn't know the difference. I didn't know how it was to be with a father. So my mother played the key role there because with me and my sister, she was always striving to keep us proud, to be proud people, to be kind people, to be gentle, to be able to give help and support to others, even either emotionally or even financially or materialistic, to be able to give and support people in the best way possible. So for sure, this has affected us a lot and affected me a lot personally, in my upbringing, since my childhood. And I have to be grateful for that, and then we have to appreciate, because sometimes we forget how important our parents are in this world, with the goods and the
Sure.
bads, it doesn't matter, the positive and the negative, but in the end, we have to be grateful and appreciate what they are trying to do for us. And the second person I would say it would be my swimming coach, because I was doing competition swimming since I was like 5, 6 years old, right? And I managed
Right.
to go at a high level in Greece, be a Greek champion, in swimming. And he was a person that really was very, calm, very mindful, very easygoing, but very focused at the same time, very disciplined, very committed, very, really, very eager, and passionate to support us as athletes, but most of all as people, as persons, most of all, and athletes at the same time. But in order to be a good athlete and a champion athlete at this level, you need to have the human qualities necessary to be at that level, right? So this is his job was very significant for me back then during my teenage years, especially in my teenage years, because teenage years are very risky sometimes, are very critical, in the way we develop as people, and what kind of habits or what kind of other qualities we develop growing up. And I would say the third person was a boss that I had at work, a few years ago, maybe 15 years ago, almost 20 years ago now, right? That he was the president of a big pharmaceutical company, right? And I was working very close to him. And he was really the person that someone would love to work with, such a person, right? Because
Right.
even without talking much, you could just feel what you were supposed to do, right? What you were supposed to do, what you needed to do, what you needed to deliver, when you needed to deliver, and everything. So that was an amazing skill, right? Fully a great active listener, not talking much, but communicating so much with his facial expression and his emotions and setting, his energy that I love working with that person.
That's so cool. I wonder how much of it was the fact your mom played such an important role in your life. Did that shape your pouring into women executives in your coaching?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. It's not something that I share much anyway, but it's true, because I grew up also with my sister. So I was, let's say, the man, of the
Right.
family, right? And I was already very young, right? So my sister is a couple of years older than me. So I had to be there for them. I had to, to be, the decisions of the family. I had to be, to learn fast things on how to survive, on how to bring some money to the family as well. So I was started working when I was 17, 18 years old already, with part-time jobs here and there, together with my university and everything. So this played an important role, to be able to grow up in a household with two ladies, and I had the responsibility to really make sure that there is a loving environment, loving space, and that we could really do some things and develop ourselves the way we wanted. Because it was not easy. We did not have the financial capacity or the abundance or something to say, okay, we live in the best house, we go to the best school, or we go for holidays, for travel and all that. Not at all. We were literally cutting the napkin, the tissue, while having dinner or lunch, we were cutting it in half to split it so that we don't consume and we don't spend money on things that we should not. This was let's say, the mentality.
Wow. I'm curious because you work so much with women executives, particularly. What are some common struggles that you've seen with them in the workplace?
Yeah, I would say the number one is really the burden that they feel that they need to be perfect in all aspects of their lives and all the different roles that they have in their life. Because a woman executive is at the same time a mother, maybe most probably, or a wife, right? And at the same time, if she's a mother and she has a full family, she has also the social tasks and social relationships to take care of. Make the planning for the family, arrange all the anything which is required for them, the home planning, travel planning, everything around the family, and that makes it even more harder. So, and at the same time, it's really important what kind of support they receive from home in order to be really successful in this role. So sometimes they don't ask. Sometimes they don't ask for support. They don't ask for help, and at the same time, they're struggling internally to really try to be perfect and really try to give to everyone else their support, their energy, their time, and it cannot happen sometimes. And the second thing I would say is about acceptance, because deep down inside them, most of them, they don't feel that they are accepted, although they strive hard, they want to be perfect, and they devote and invest a lot of time and effort. Still, they may have inside them the feeling that they are not accepted, maybe they're not enough, in these roles.
With that in mind, is that why your workshop, The Power of Saying No, is really important for female executives for balance?
Yes, it was very interesting. Thank you for asking for the workshop. It was actually last weekend. Yeah, last weekend now, the Saturday and Sunday, I had this workshop for 4 hours, 2 hours on Saturday, 2 hours Sunday. And it was really focused on the power of saying no and how to communicate our boundaries assertively. So for women executives, but not only for women executives, for everyone, even for men,
Right.
the ability to say no, right? It's a challenge. It's a challenge, and it's something that we all need to develop slowly, gradually, step by step, right? Because otherwise, we face overwhelm, we face a lot of stress, we face a lot of negative energy and negative emotions, just because we are not in a strong position, an assertive position to say no when we need to say no and say yes when we need to say yes. So we need to differentiate these things. It cannot be all the time yes, it cannot be all the time no. So we need to be able to have this balance there. Yes. So yes, women executives, but not only, right? They need to master and they need to really focus on how to say no and how to manage their priorities, how to manage their self-care. Because saying no, it's very, very strongly related on our self-care and how are we are setting our priorities and we manage our time. First of all, this is the foundation. If you manage to have a proper self-care and manage your time efficiently and effectively, then you feel more grounded, more strong to be able to say no to different demands, wishes, or needs of other people.
That saying no, I know when I was young, especially a young leader, that was hard because you want to give people certain impressions about yourself, that you're competent, that you're a hard worker, that you care about whatever position you're called to do. But you fear, I think, that saying no will diminish one or all of those aspects that you're trying to communicate. So you talk about self-care. How do you convince your clients to consider their self-care as they're trying to figure out what their boundaries are and saying no to things?
Yeah, self-care is the number one. You have to start from self-care because unfortunately we miss the fact that self-care is not selfish. Because we grow up and we believe because of demands, because of the way our parents or societal expectations, they are shaping us, and then we believe that we should not take care of ourselves so much. We should be there for the other ones. We should be the good guys or the good girls, that we need to support everyone else and be the caregivers and all that, and then we neglect our self-care. But in the end, everything starts with self-care. That's why in holistic coaching, because as you know, I'm a holistic coach, right? So in the holistic coaching, we have to start with the self-care, first of all. And we need to understand, I'm trying to convey the message to my clients and support them in this, that they need to understand that taking care of themselves is not selfish. It's not selfish at all. And the explanation is very easy. Why? Because if you take the time for self-care and if you increase the energy levels of your body, of your mind, getting clarity, better clarity mentally, and you are more opening up and releasing emotions out of through the process of taking care of yourself, immediately you have more stamina, you have more energy and more strength to give back to your loved ones. So the more energy you have and the stronger you are and the more powerful you feel and the happier you feel and the more fulfilled and joyful you feel, then you can give 10 times as much to your loved ones, to your children, to your husband or wife, to your parents, to your friends, 10 times as much compared to if you didn't have this self-care time for you on a regular basis.
That's awesome. I don't know if most people know what holistic coaching is. So define for us, what is holistic coaching?
Yes, so in holistic coaching is basically the approach, the complete and whole approach, holistic approach to a person's challenges from the four different levels of well-being, as we say, four different levels of awareness, which is the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. So, for example, if you're coming to me and saying, "Look, Tassos, I have a small challenge. I don't know how to select. Let's say I have two job offers, in front of me, and I don't know what to select. So I need some clarity. Can you help support me with some clarity?" Right? I will approach the challenge of your challenge through the four different levels. First of all, I will understand. I will try to make you understand, basically, right, through my questions to you and my deeper, let's say, investigation, so that you get the clarity on what is closer to you, which of the job offers or which of the career path it's closer to you physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So you understand all these four levels, and then you get the clarity to say, yes, I think I will follow this career path, or I will take this job offer because it feels better for me physically, because I will be working in an environment that I will enjoy, for example, or I will be working outside in the countryside where I have fresh air, for example. For example, this is important for me, let's say, right? Or I will have good people around me that they will challenge me mentally, and I will be very creative, etc., etc. So you have to find this truth of yours that is closer to you on all these four levels. So this is what holistic coaching is about. We are addressing any challenge, any human challenge, personal or professional. We are exploring it, and we are investigating, and we're supporting our clients through this lens of the holistic approach lens.
I love that, because you're right. Every decision you make has many different facets to it. You may love a potential job offer because it pays a lot more, but it moves you to an area of the country where you're not exactly happy about it.
Exactly.
Or it may be a great part of the country, but the salary and the people you work with aren't people you like to be around. So I done a little coaching myself, and I always try to get those things out of people as well. It's like, I'm not here to answer the question for you. I'm here to draw the question out of you, because if I answer it for you, that's not really you changing it. It's me giving you a suggestion.
Correct. And this usually 99% out, I guess it's your experience as well, 99% the coachee or the client does not follow our advice,
Right.
because right, because it's not us. It's not us. I mean, they are them and we are we, right? And we are different people, different person with different perspectives, different beliefs, different understandings, different culture, different religion. So it's impossible to be aligned fully 100% with any person. So this is why coaching is so significant, because coaching, as you nicely said, has to come from within the person, from within the coachee. They need to find their own truths, their own solutions, their own action steps, their own accountability. We are here as coaches to support the journey, to listen, to be there with them, to challenge them, to bring out the best version of themselves.
What I love about coaching, or even talking to people, just a one-on-one conversations, is when you hear them say, "Wow, that's a great question." Um, that lets you know that you've hit on something with a powerful question. So, as a coach, I'm curious, how do you learn to ask what I would say are powerful coaching questions?
Hmm. Yeah, okay, that's a great question. I can do the same to you, right? But it's coming really, with instinct. First of all, instinct. Second, connection, presence, active presence, connection with the coachee, with the client on this very, very moment during the duration of the coaching session, right? Because you need to establish this chemistry and this full active listening and presence status with the client, and so that you are fully engaged. So then immediately some messages, if I can say, and this is also sometimes it works spiritual as well, right? Some messages or some insights are coming as thoughts. So then what I usually do, I just express it. And I say, do you mind, may I ask something? Or what are your thoughts about that? Or I just had an insight, I just had an idea, let me share it with you if it resonates with you. You see, so I don't keep it for me. I share it because, and I've 90% of the situation of this case, I've noticed that it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense for the client, and then we go deeper and deeper and deeper in the discussion, the conversation, and then this is where the breakthroughs are coming. This is when really the coachee and the client goes deeper, and they have the real breakthroughs about what they want to do in their lives, what is important for them, why this is important to them, what they want, how they want to connect with people, with nature, with the universe, whatever this may be the case.
Are there certain types of clients you find more difficult to work with than others?
No, not really, not really, because I don't find difficulty. I can say in the beginning, some people, some coaches, some clients are a little bit more intimidated. Maybe they don't share so much. Maybe they need more time. Maybe they're a little bit more introvert. Some of them are more extrovert, so maybe they need more time to open up. But once we gain and I gain the trust and the confidence and of the coachee, then there's no problem at all. And that takes usually 1 or 2 sessions, not more than that.
As a coach, I typically do 6 months. When I used to do coaching a lot, I would do 3 months, and then we'd stop and evaluate and say, is this working for you? If not, either party can have an out. So how do you set up your coaching session so that and the person knows that they have the benefit of this is working well for them or not?
Yes. So I follow similar principles, similar strategy, let's say, and similar coaching engagements. So we start with let's say a target of around 3 months, which is on a weekly basis around, let's say, 10 to 12 sessions. And then we evaluate, but we evaluate even when we're halfway, even when we're like around 6 sessions, we evaluate and we say, okay, are we within the coaching framework, the coaching agreement we originally had, or what maybe need to shift in our approach, right? Because maybe you got something out which is more important now for you. So you want to continue with this challenge or with this perspective, that will give you more value, right? And then so for me, it's a very dynamic process. It's a very dynamic process because you know how it is. You open up a question, you open up a self, and then all of a sudden you find that you need to open up more, drawers, and you find and you discover more things, and then the coaching, the client need and realize that they get a lot of value out of it, and they are ready to unpack more things. They're ready to go to more actions and more steps.
What about coach for you is the most satisfying?
Oh, for me, is the satisfaction that I get when I really see a breakthrough in a client. When I really
Yeah.
when I really see a client, as you said, that I make a question, and all of a sudden he stops or she stops and she's thinking, right? And then all of a sudden you see these eyes going, opening up, and the smile coming, and all this like, or a big breath, like wow, like wow, all of a sudden that's already, a great satisfaction because it's a realization that something changed, something shifted there. Something came that it was not expected or it was not foreseen before that can really change the game for the coach here, for the client. So this is the big satisfaction, and
Yeah,
it's
I love
yeah,
those aha moments. Yeah.
yes, it's really a aha moment, but it's the feeling, it's the emotion, it's the reaction, that is really so valuable, when you're in the middle of a coaching session, to witness something like that.
That's awesome. So what do you have and what are you working on now in your coaching career? What's the next steps for you? What's the next big thing on your agenda?
My next big thing, yes, in terms of coaching, is this executive coaching because I want to bring really the holistic approach to the executive world. And this is not easy. This is not easy right? But I think there is a great opportunity there, because holistic coaching is about balance, it's about wellness, it's about clarity, it's about connection, so it's about empathy, very important, right? About empathy. So all these skills and all these features and all these abilities are perfect for an executive environment because unfortunately most of the times these skills and qualities are not there, they don't exist, or they're very rare, they're very rare. So my passion is, and my efforts and everything I could do right now is to really try to bring holistic coaching within corporates, within big organizations, to support both women and men at the same time, right? Because we also face, as men, we face a lot of challenges, right? It's not easy for us either, what
Right.
we're going through, and then we have high level of stress, and we are more vulnerable as beings than women anyway, right?
Right.
In the end, out of nature, right? It's the opposite that we believe. People believe, oh man, they are very strong. They can face anything. No, it's not like this. Not like this at all.
Right.
so, so we all need coaching. We all need coaching ourselves, first of all, to become better persons, to become better coaches for our clients. And of course, the people that we were working in challenging environments and competitive environments, or they're setting up their businesses and they want to start with somewhere they don't know where. All the people, they need this kind of supporting in coaching. But what is your view on that? Would you agree on this?
No, I do agree on it. And I was thinking to myself, because I coach a certain area of people. I usually coach professional church workers and those kind of things. And I was
Hmm.
thinking, because that's also one of those needs where you don't get a lot of, they don't have a lot of support also sometimes either. And they're making, and just the life that they're leading. But I was wondering, as you coach executives, do you ever get the sense that, or maybe I should ask this question. There's a misconception, I think, about what coaches that or not. Is it that you have to have been an executive yourself to coach executives? Or do you think it's really more about, like you said before, it's about connecting and asking the right kinds of questions?
Yes, it can be both. Definitely, it can be both. Meaning that yes, you don't need to have to be an executive 100% to be able to really challenge the other person and really go, do powerful and strong questions and interesting questions. However, from the client perspective, my experience at least says that the more you can resonate as a coach with a client for different experiences or different, ideas or paths in your life or experiences in your life, the more confident and secure and connected the client feels, right? So, for example, for me, I have 25 years of professional experience in senior corporate, senior organizations and senior positions. So an executive, which is now 40-year-old, 45-year-old, 50-year-old, or even 30-year-old, can connect easier with me because I understand what he's going or she is going through in their lives, being an executive. At the same
Right.
time, I've done a couple of entrepreneurial, 3 or 4 entrepreneurial businesses and efforts and startups and all of myself. So I can also resonate with business owners or startup companies, young people they want to set up, right? You see,
Right.
and then in any coaching specialization specialty, I think it works like that. It
Yeah.
can work.
That's really insightful. I was thinking that because it's like you seem to have a wide range of gifts and abilities. So you do resonate with executives because you do bring so much to the table as well.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate that. Yes. But what is your let's say mainly target, let's say when you're coaching clients, when you're coaching people?
It depends. Sometimes people are looking at career choices
Mm,
or career changes. Sometimes they're just stuck in their career,
yeah,
wanting to figure out how do I move forward, um, limitations that I'm dealing with right now. Sometimes it's spiritual. So
mm,
mine can also kind of be holistic too. A lot of times, sometimes what they're running into is there's a spiritual blockage in their life, and we're trying to help them
sure.
work through that issue because they're just not feeling like they're connecting with God. And if they can't connect with God, then it's hard for them to do their ministry helping other people connect with God. So it kind of ranges in those kind of areas for me.
Sure. Great, great.
I'm curious, as you think about where you're at right now in this phase of your life, what are you most excited about?
Well, first of all, I'm excited about my kids, and how they grow up, and how I see them growing up, because this is very important for me, right? To try to be there as much as possible. Sometimes it's not easy, of course, to be there 100% of your time. It's not possible for us to be there 100% of our time, right? But this is one big excitement factor for me. And the other is what I can create, that I can provide, I can give back, I can have impact to the society. I can have impact to the people that they need it. They need it, and I can provide value to the people they need it. For example, I will just give you. I had the conversation a couple of days ago with a Greek lady. This is the CEO of a let's say of a service of a health and medical service provider in Seattle, in the US. Right. So we had a very, very beautiful conversation. And what they are doing is that they're trying to support, and not treat, they're trying to support chronically ill, sick people, that they've done through very, very rough times, and they need some support, someone to take them and say, look, I'm here for you. I can support you. I can talk to the doctors. I can take you to the right doctors. I can run everything you need to run, all the tests, the diagnostic tests, results, etc., for you. And you may have a peace of mind, because you understand how sensitive this is for a chronically sick person for years, right? And for me, just clicked there. I said, look, if you think that I can support in this mission of yours, I can do pro bono work. I don't mind doing some pro bono work. Let's find this framework, 4, 5, 6, 10 hours a month. If I can support these people, I don't mind doing pro bono. So you see what I mean? So there
Yeah,
are so many opportunities that are opening up that I see there, and I'm willing, to take everything that is more closer to my heart and closer, to what I really value.
that's awesome. As you think about the impact you're making in the world, what do you want your legacy to be?
Yes, the legacy, again, I will go back to my kids first. So the legacy is for my son Socrates, from Socrates, my son,
Yeah,
my son, my son Socrates, the big coach. He's the real coach, not me. He's the real coach. so, so my son to be, of course, healthy and grow up, to be let's say, a person that can really, be balanced and can be, enjoy life and can be fulfilled and joyful and all that, because this is, I think, important. Second, my daughter also, because my daughter is coming from Africa, from Ethiopia. We adopted our daughter Maya. So, for us as a family, it's a very challenging, to make sure that this child, from where she started and where she's coming from, can really have a successful and beautiful and healthy life, and again, balanced and healthy life. This is most important. And then my legacy is to really to be able to provide this such impact, and at least some people will remember me for what I offered and what maybe what change I made for their lives. That's it. I don't need more. I don't need more than that.
that's awesome. If you had 30 seconds to pour into executives out there, what do you have to say to them? Kind of give them a word of encouragement.
The encouragement for me is very clear here. It's coming back to our first point of be better every day. I would say don't strive for perfection. Don't go for perfection. Perfection for me is procrastination,
Right.
really. Go for progress, go for action. Even if you make mistakes, even if you regret it, doesn't matter. You at least you did it. Instead of not doing anything because of perfection, because you want to have everything beautiful and nice and all these and all that, and causing you stress, and then you be overwhelmed and stressed and crazy about things, just do the actions, do the things, move on, learn and move on, learn and move on. That's it for me.
That is awesome. Where can people find you and connect with you on social media?
Yeah, so they can find me in my website. So I have my website, which is basically my name. So it's TASSOS KOTZIAS.com, so tasoskotsiat.com. And I have the similar profiles in Instagram, in Facebook, in LinkedIn also. I have my profile in LinkedIn, so I think the people can search. If they can search with my name now, they find me everywhere.
Well, thank you so much for what you do and the way you pour into people and help them to live their best life and take that little progressive step every day to be better at what they do. And the fact that you find a need to enrich their lives by helping them to draw out of themselves what God's already placed in them is just inspiring. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you, Keith. I appreciate our time together. I appreciate our discussion. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you. That was great. Thank you.